Da-da-da! Hello! Hello everyone! Welcome to another Sunday story time, where we will probably be finishing A Leap into Darkness today due to the fact we only have 15% left. Again, sorry if I keep hitting my mic with my headphones. I bob my head a lot. And then when I do it, sometimes, I forget how big this headset is. I need to figure that out. Anyway, hello, this is Brenda West with Life Within Library. Did I really say that? I don't know if I did. I'm a bit sleepy today, can you tell? Should be interesting on the reading. I'll do my best. And I'll also do my best to give you a good summary of 85% of a book. So bear with me. Here we go. Righto. Jake's a dog. Main character is a dog called Jake, who is a fluffy little boy. And he had a peasant family called Rose and Chris, and they would have, like, adventures. Testing, smack the microphone. Yeah, it's very important, actually. It's totally on purpose for that specific reason, Void. Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, and Finn's a human. Jake's the dog, and Finn's a human. Jake's the dog, and Chris is a human. His peasant mummy Rose unfortunately dies, and his peasant daddy gets very drunk and very abusive. And as he's being abusive, the king's family rolls on by and goes, "Hey, that's a great dog. Why are you being abusive? We're going to adopt this dog now." So he gets adopted into the royal family. And then the royal family comes across this wizard once, and this wizard was like, "I'm a cool wizard. You should like help like live with me." And the queen was like, "Nah, just nah." And then mysteriously the queen becomes very ill and totally not cursed by this wizard, who conveniently turns up as she's dying and is like, I can help. Luckily they listen to the queen. They don't let him help, but unfortunately that doesn't mean the queen passes away. And after that, her son gets ill, and his sister is like, "Yeah, I'm not having this again." So she goes to the wizard, and she gets the wizard to help with her brother, and then her brother and her dad and her start getting real close to the wizard after that. In fact, he may be mind controlling a lot. It's very coincidental. He just happens to be there at the right time. It gets a little bit mind controlly. We think the little brother's being basically mind controlled. Dad's pretty much out of the picture at this point. He's basically catatonic, and the only outside world communication he has is the wizard now. And the wizard basically has full control of the kingdom. He's sent some of the kingdom off to war now. And the best way to stop that war is to, like, stop a messenger from getting through. Because he sent the army off to one part, somewhere else, so that the kingdom is open to attack. And then sent a messenger to another kingdom that he likes, I think it was called Vinland, to attack the kingdom they're in, while they're not defended. Terrible stuff. Meanwhile, there is an evil, angry crow who hangs out with this wizard, who has riled up the townsfolk and somewhat mind-controlled them as well. And I think they're marching on the castle now. But I think they're going to meet a small army of animals being led by a shaman witch who lives near the castle. She's the head chef in the castle, and she's helping Jake prepare himself for his battle. But he went back to the castle only to be driven out again and thrown into the moat, where he nearly drowned if it wasn't for Chris, his former dad, redeeming himself and saving Jake from drowning. And that is about where we left off. Chris did not make it, but Jake is safe. Although getting back into the castle is going to be a giant pain in the arse now. I'd want any chef. Any chef will do. A good chef. I want a good chef. I don't want a bad chef. A personal chef in general, who has general skills, would be good. I say this. I had a wonderful dinner today. My boyfriend, because I started playing Raincoat today, and I was getting really into it, so my boyfriend just kind of got up and started making dinner, and the next thing I knew, dinner had appeared in front of me. It was wonderful. He's the best. Absolutely the best. I love him. Anyway, let's not talk about my boyfriend. Let's read a book. Another Way. Jake had struggled to his feet and stood now by the riverbank, sopping wet and tail drooping. I want a chef that can recreate the abomination dish I saw in in a place. If it's an abomination dish, I'm not sure it'll be very tasty. He shook himself vigorously, shedding icy water and taking a moment to allow delightful sunshine to warm his back. He looked around, then trotted west along the tree line. As he got closer to the castle, he slunk into the woods and peered out from behind a tree. Oh, a PS2 game. Cool. 2 guards were standing on the narrow strip of land just outside of the gate. They were the same ones as before. The tall guard was waving a hand in an animated fashion with a short one. Jake sighed. No bridge. Can't get through the gate, he thought. His eyes trailed away from the guards and over to the castle's towering northeast wall, with heavy grey stones stacked layer upon endless layer. The fortification was impenetrable, having withstood the test of time and armies. Well, old man, you can still jump a little, but not that high. He studied to the base of the wall. And I'm not a silly hedgehog. Not enough time to dig a tunnel under it like... He narrowed his eyes. Like that one! That's Digby's tunnel! He announced. Digby, for those, I don't know, who haven't caught the whole book, Digby's a hedgehog who likes to sneak into the kitchen and steal food. Now Digby the hedgehog! He dig, not run. He was startled by the sound of his own voice and quickly checked on the guards again. They were arguing now. The short one wagged an accusing finger at the tall one, then turned and stalked off to the west along the wall. The little dog sighed in relief. They hadn't heard him. Jake gritted his teeth and then launched into the open, sprinting towards the wall and the narrow tunnel that disappeared under it. Also, there's a Sonic restaurant, probably somewhere in Japan, I'm assuming. They have all the cool stuff over there. I want to go again. A small smile formed on his face as he closed in. He was gonna make it. Jake, stop! The tall guard was running towards him along the wall. Jake dashed towards the tunnel, dove in, and started pushing himself through, his hind legs furiously kicking up the turf behind him as he struggled to move forward. But it was no good. The tunnel was too narrow, and he was stuck. No, that's an American drive-thru restaurant. Ah, I didn't know that. Interesting. We don't have drive-thru restaurants here. That's weird. Sorry, Jake, but no exceptions now. Bells at Dawn's orders, shouted the guard as he ran full speed as he saw the little dog trying to get back out of the tunnel. He'll have me eyed for sure, yeah. The guard was nearly upon the bitchin. It's bitchin, isn't it? I've been saying bitchin the whole time, but bitchin's kind of fun to say, so I'm going to keep going. When the foot tripped over a small, smooth boulder suddenly coming to life and rising from the ground. Flying off his feet, the man appeared to be swimming through the air. He landed with a crack, his head striking a rock. He was out cold. Are you sure he's out cold and not dead? Did a tortoise just kill a man? Probably not. Probably not. Jake grunting and cursing finally managed to pull himself back out of the tunnel. He looked behind him, astonished to see the guards sprawled out on the ground and unconscious, with Plod stationed next to him. Plod is said tortoise. I say, I must protest these rude interruptions, the tortoise said, winking at Jake. What's a fellow to do to get in a simple nap around here? If out cold means knocked out, what does in hot mean? What would I mean? Hot and bothered, I guess. In focused. It means you're hyper focused. What is that? Come on, brain. Anyway, we're good. It's fine. This is all fine. We're fine. You're fine. I'm fine. How did you? Where did you? It's all about timing, my good man, Plod explained. Speaking of which, no time to lose. Off with you then. Everything is fine. Nothing's on fire. Jake smiled and began digging into the tunnel with renewed energy. Too much of a good life, he muttered as he pushed the tubby bitchin's body further. Now, in my leaner days. He gave a final kick of the dirt behind him and disappeared under the wall. The raven looped in slowly, wide circles over the river. With piercing eyes, he gazed eastward towards Finland, west towards Greyland, and then turned north towards the castle before him. All at once, 4 large eagles dove towards him, swooping down on powerful wings from 4 different directions. You odious feathered demon! Fuck yeah, eagles! Freedom! The first eagle screeched, its deadly talons extended. You'll fly no more! Sorry, I probably should try give them an American accent, shouldn't I, for the funsies? You odious feather demon! You'll fly no more! It tore into the raven, ripping its flesh and sending him reeling. Another eagle dropped down, intercepting the black bird. Release your tormented soul! Apparently they're a bit southern as well. It shouted as it gashed the raven's back and sent him spinning through the air. The raven barely had time to stabilize its flight when the 3rd eagle slashed down upon him. Country accent's apparently the best I can do. It's a country eagle. It's from the country. Abomination! It bawled as his talons gouged out one of the raven's eyes and sent him spiraling. The raven, enraged, released an ungodly shrill that just as the 4 eagles were jetting towards him. The eagle was stunned by the terrifying shriek. Say yeehaw after every other sentence, then you'll nail it. Yes! Okay, I'll do that next time. Oh, that's how I should do the wilders. Whenever I do them on thingy, they should be southern yeehaw. Its eyes went wide with panic, and it veered away at the last second, slamming into the 3rd eagle and sending the 2 of them plummeting towards the river below. The remaining 2 eagles watched in utter shock as their friends crashed into the rapids. Furious, they circled now in opposite directions around the bird, looking for a chance to strike. The raven directed his bloodless, empty eye sockets at them and released a guttural craw-like squawk. Horror-stricken by the unnatural, ghastly sound, the eagles froze in the air and then thrashed their wings like chicks learning to fly. With a final, desperate fluttering, they dropped like stones down into the river. The raven watched them sink below the water and turned towards the castle, one wing sagging and his head tilted to the right in favouring his remaining eye. Whoa, the raven took a hit. Nice. Well done, Eagles. Jake popped out of the tunnel and found himself on the other side of the wall in the courtyard. He could see a couple of guards at the castle door talking to each other. One was animated and gesticulating, the other leaning back in a bellied laugh. Jake sprinted away from them and went east along the base of the wall, pondering his next move. Have you ever played Metroid Dread before? No. I haven't really played many. 1 second. I don't think I can say I've ever played a Metroidvania in general. Not the kind of games I normally go for. Dread was fun to watch people play, though. He could see the hedgehog in his mind's eye waddling along. Yes, imagined him saying, "Here I am. Yes, yes, I'm Digby. Just popped in for a visit. Well, a tart, actually. Tarts are in the kitchen. Splendid. Don't mind me. Carry on." Jake shook his head, smiling, and then stopped to get his bearings. Kitchen's on the east side. Scullery connects to it, and... oh, think, man. Scullery has Digby's drainage pipe. He looked back at the guards. One was still flailing his hands, the other was coughing. Jake clenched his jaw and dashed toward the pipe. As he closed in on it, he kept glancing left, certain that he'd hear a guard scream at him. He was in disbelief as he reached the pipe unseen. His luck seemed to be changing for the better. The pipe, touch wood. Don't just say, you can't just write that and not have him touch wood or something. That's how things go wrong. The pipe entrance was much wider than Digby's tunnel, and he easily belly crawled through it, disappearing into the castle. They must have had big old drain pipes back in the day to fit a small doggy. Touch wood, not grass. You should touch grass too, but I don't know if grass does anything for bad luck, whereas you touch wood after bad luck. As his eyes adjusted from the bright outdoors to the dimness of the scullery, Jake paused for a moment and cocked his ears. It was eerily quiet. He padded softly across the room into the dark kitchen and listened again. Absolute silence. Where was everyone? And where was Belzadorn? He shivered at the thought as he slunk through the kitchen and out into a long, gloomy hallway. As he crept along, he gulped back in fear and called out a loud whisper, "Janice! Henry! Lizzie!" There seemed a coldness now in the castle. It seemed almost palatable. It seemed like an almost palatable thing that surrounded him and pressed down on him. He thought he heard whispers. After bad luck. "Oh yeah, Brony, did you know you can't break a mirror? You can only make more of them." That's correct. And you can make them sharp and dangerous. He thought he heard whispers, but realized it was just one of those chilling castle drafts that swept past him. He willed himself forward, hugging the wall as he edged along. A door opened just around the corner from another corridor. Footsteps were fast approaching. Nowhere to go now, so let him come, Jake thought grimly as he pressed himself up against the wall, teeth bared and growling. "My Jakey!" and exclaimed an elated whisper. "But you're all right." Jake's heart surged. It was Janice! He jumped into her arms and licked her face as Henry danced circles around them, and Lizzie happily chittered and looped overhead. "I'm fine, and I'm so relieved to see you're safe too," Jake said. I'll explain everything later. But now we have to help your father. Now! Janice squeezed him hard and then gently let him on the floor. She carefully hung Leslie's leather pouch around his neck. But wouldn't they be expecting that? She asked. Perhaps we should wait a bit, and they won't expect us to return so soon, since I'm dead, Jake replied, his hollow little laugh echoing off the walls. Janice gave him a strange look, bit her lip, and then nodded in agreement. And with that, they stole down the dark passage together towards the throne room. Oh yeah, the percent complete's not there. You bring up a good point. It's done a dumb thing. It's here somewhere. It's done something very silly. It does this sometimes. Where's it gone? It's probably at the bottom of this somewhere. Whee! Slowly but surely. Yeah, I'm pressing hold, don't I? Yeah, we're getting there. Look how zoomed in it is. Oh, I don't even know where it is in this. Scuff, the best of scuffs. Do 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 do. So much scuff, the best of scuffs. Da, 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 da. I don't even know what this is anymore. I don't even know what this is anymore. I think we might have to deal with the percentage not quite being there. We're at 88%. I'll have to make sure I keep an eye on that for next time. Lordy loo. It's not an easy one to set up, and then it never stays set up either. It's always off whenever I like come onto OBS. It's annoying. Oh well. Oh well. Oh, I hit my mic again. Oopsie doopsie. Testing. Bonk bonk bonk. The roaring fire blazed in the massive hearth, its leaping flames casting warped shadows that sprang forth with the dark fingers grabbing at the two thrones and then quickly retreating. As Jake slipped first into the throne room, he could just about make out Belzadorn's voice close by. As the others came in behind him, Jake put up a paw, and then together they crouched down behind the row of sitting chairs. Jake peered out from behind the chairs towards the king's withdrawing room. He could see that the raven was perched on the large table next to Belzadorn, the two of them looking at the hologons together. If you can smell a wild animal's breath, could that not be the breath of the wild from Zelda? Oh. That's terrible, Void. But just terrible enough to still get your badumts. It's no good, Jake said, turning back to his friends. Belzadorn and the Raven are outside the king's chamber. We have to wait. Lizzie looked up at the lofty rafters above her. I prefer the high ground, she said. Jake nodded, and the little sparrow lifted off Janice's shoulders, fluttering up into the dimness above. And they waited and listened. The raven glared at the holocons. Behind its misted glass, Leslie was standing at the back of her college, studying cottage, not college. The black bird directed its dark eye socket at Belzadorn as a maggot wriggled out from it. She has the high ground. It's over, Belzadorn. Lizzie has the high ground. He flicked his beak and caught a pale white worm caught the pale white worm, gulping it down in one swift movement. Bleh. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more gross. The sorcerer gave a small cough and looked down at the ground. I'm sorry, my friend, but she's even stronger than I expected. She persists. The raven was silent, its piercing gaze unwavering. But I have good news, Belzadorn added with a short and hopeful laugh. The dog has been eliminated. I believe we underestimated his. The raven fanned out its wings, and with a hideous squawk, leaned towards Belzadorn. The dog was nothing. I'll deal with the cook, and then with you. He flew out of the throne room, and then up towards the rafters. He flew out of the throne room and up towards the rafters, disappearing through an open window. That's a reluctant but dumb tis for your angry bird. He is an angry bird. He is an angry bird right now. He's very angry at having lost an eyeball. With a trembling hand, Belzadorn stroked his beard and let out a nervous exhale. He turned to the hologons and rubbed it, conjuring up images of a bloody battle. As the sorcerer picked up the hologons and walked into the king's chamber, Jake, Janice, and Henry stole over to the edge of the withdrawing room. Jake peered in towards the open door of the chamber. He could see Belzadorn patting the king's hand, James and Pendleton sitting close to his bed. He will never be. He is but a one-eyed raven now. And he's a bit of a shithead. But then Odin can be a bit of a shithead too, depending on what stories you're reading. I wonder if green bacon would taste good. Probably not. Not gonna lie. I've seen like the veggie bacon in the shops and it don't look good. Don't look good. Oh, sorry. As the sorcerer picked up the hologons and walked with it. Nope, I read that bit. Yes, I read that whole ass page. Awaken, your majesty, said the sorcerer in a loud, joyous voice. I have uplifting news. He held up the hologons for the king to see as James leaned in. Your forces have crushed the enemy. Greyland is in full retreat. This campaign will bring lasting peace. He means the force that has not made it to Greyland at all. James beamed down at his father as the king with tired eyes reached up to his son, stroking his cheek. You will live in a better world. Jake turned back to Janice and Henry. The king is awake, he whispered. Now's our chance. He gingerly pulled the vial out of his pouch with his teeth and held it carefully in his mouth as he nodded to the others. Just as they started to move, Henry looked up to the rafters. The raven comes! He bawled, his eyes bulging. The raven streaked down towards them like a black arrow as they stood frozen in fear. But from seemingly nowhere, Lizzie swooped down and smashed into the bird. Round two, motherfucker! Latching onto its injured wing and pecking relentlessly at the dark eye socket. The wings beat in a blur as she pushed the raven across the room towards the hearth. The raven screeched but could not redirect its flight. The little sparrow released her grip and started to swing away, but the raven was just able to snatch her with its claws, and the two of them crashed into the hearth's fire. No, Lizzie! Jake, Janice, and Henry watched in horror as the raven flailed about, black wings stretching out against the orange flames. With guttural screams, the dreadful bird flapped out of the fire and crashed to the floor, his body engulfed in a pillar of blue flame. The flame lifted up from him with a spine-chilling wail. The king is awake. Now's our chance to steal something from him? I mean, okay. I know a helicopter pilot who thinks running into buildings with the heli is the greatest plan. No. They need to give him a potion. Although that helicopter pilot, I'm guessing that's gotta be in COD or something like that. You can get all the snipers if you just crash a helicopter into it. Why not? Henry Stickmin? Ugh. Is it? How can it be a Henry Stickmin reference when Henry Stickmin is just references? I have not played that game. Me, being an old person who gets no references. On the ground below, what was once a raven was now a pile of black ashes. There was no sign of Lizzie. No! Janice choked back a sob, clenched her jaw and nodded at Jake and Henry. They rushed towards the king's chamber. Belzadon stood ready with a hideous grin as the three of them burst into the chamber. The sorcerer held the king's hand firmly as James and Pendleton moved in close behind them. "Get away from my father!" Janice screamed. Jake lunged at Belzadon, but Pendleton sprang forward and knocked the bitchin on his back. The vial popped out of Jake's mouth and rattled over to Janice. She snatched it up in a flash. Henry darted forward and sunk his teeth into Pendleton's hind leg. "Fuck you, Pendleton." But James was just as quick as he grabbed the little poodle and tore him away. Janice slowly held up the vial, her eyes staring daggers at the sorcerer as her fingers pulled out the vial's cork. The king, with half-slit eyes, looked foggily at Janice. "My daughter, what are you doing?" Shh, that's kind of why I want to keep saying it. I know I can change it and I could say bishin instead or something like that, but bitchin's so much fun to say! Belzadon's features softened as he smiled warmly at Janice. He placed the hologon on the table near the bed, lifted his palms up. Peace. With that one simple word, a heavy, unbearable force seemed to press down on everyone in the room but the sorcerer. The unseen energy stifled moment and clouded the mind. Stifled movement, not moment, sorry. James slowly released Henry and leaned against Belzadon with heavy sighs. Henry and Pendleton sluggishly flopped down onto the floor. Janice's icy stare melted away. Her eyes fluttered and she struggled to turn her head towards her father. With extreme, strained effort, Jake backed away from Belzadon, gazing up at him defiantly. "Peace," the sorcerer said, chuckling down at the little dog. Jake's head sagged. Belzadon looked at Janice and then over to the king. "Janice, your father wishes to speak." He moved over to the king and helped him sit higher up against the pillows. The king looked sadly at Janice. You would betray me?" Janice lowered her head, her eyes brimming. "You've already lost your mother," the king continued, his voice gaining strength. "You would collude with deceivers to lose me as well?" Oh, this is so nasty. She's just a little girl. She's just a baby. Why you do this to her? She doesn't deserve this. The king leaned forward, frowning, his eyes penetrating as Janice forced herself to look back up at him. "Belzadon saved your brother. He saved me. and he saved our land. He eyed the vial in her hand, and then turned his hard gaze back upon her. And yet you'd throw that all away on the word of a godless witch who talks to demons and the dead? With tears streaming, Janice shook her head. She corked the vial and lowered it. No, she said miserably. But the poor girl, she's been through so much in this book, goddamn. Maisie rubbed up against Leslie's leg, purring. Vincent, Nigel, and Winston, though, seemed less comfortable with the situation. Leslie smiled down at them and gave them a reassuring nod. She leaned against the back of her cottage, eyeing the wood and listening to the sounds of clubs and knives clashing with snarled fangs. She raised up her palms and called out loudly, "Don't be afraid. Come to me." The skirmish between man and beast sputtered and then stopped. As the citizens turned their empty gazes upon Leslie, the beasts called out to one another and then faded away into the deep woods. "Come to me," Leslie said again. She set her jaw and watched as the people massed together and moved as one towards her. Atlas, the horsey, pounded the wide and steep hill, his eyes narrowed and his mane flowing, his body glistening with sweat. He could feel the years melting away as he galloped with vigor and spirit. He was Atlas the stallion, a horse to be reckoned with, one with a special purpose who would not be denied. A few odd grey specks crested over the hill. He slowed to a trot and squinted his eyes. More specks streamed over the hill and rapidly fell on the other side of the first ones. Soon, hundreds of specks had come together to form a long, snaking line that stretched across the horizon. Several of the specks in the center shot ahead downhill towards him, their forms taking shape, their banners revealing the cavalry of Vinland. Atlas stopped, entranced by the size of the advancing forces. He frowned and shook his head, spun west, hesitated, and looked back. "You must not retreat, old boy," he mumbled. "Just need to get reorganized is alls." With a snort and a shake of his mane, he galloped west, back towards Gorsland. Yep, he's just seen the armies on the way. Yay! Oh no, the messenger actually made it to Vinland, which means Vinland's army's on the way, and Gorsland's army is nowhere to be found. Yay! This is gonna be awful. The king reached out, and we're on 90% for the record because I don't have the thing in the corner, so we have 10% left of this book. Let's go. The king reached out a frail hand towards Janice. "Don't be afraid. Come to me, daughter." With all the remaining energy he could muster, Jake slowly lifted his head and watched in anguish as Janice moved with slow, robotic motion towards her father. Belzadorn looked on, smiling smugly. "Why can't the sculptor do something?" Jake muttered. His paws felt like they were glued to the floor. His limbs were impossibly heavy. It was almost as if they were coated in cement. But then the little dog saw a murky image of Leslie's face floating above him, her broad smile beaming down on him. He could hear her voice, calm and confident. The sculptor's probably up to the task of picking the right ones. Jake clenched his jaw, turned his head, and glared at the king. "The cook's name is Leslie, and she's not godless. She loves the sculptor, and the sculptor loves her." The king, astounded, rubbed his ears and squeezed his eyes shut, opening them again as Belzadorn patted his hand. And now we have a talking dog, the sorcerer said quickly with a nervous chuckle. Proof of the meddling magic of the hag. The king frowned uncertainly at the sorcerer. With Belzadorn's attention directed at the king, Jake leapt towards Janice, snatching the vial out of her hand with his mouth. Hands and paws grabbed at him from all sides. He vaulted and flipped in the air, bounced off the king's bed, latched onto a tapestry, swung off it and onto a dresser, and then leapt and landed nimbly on all fours behind the sorcerer. Belzadorn's hands flailed after Jake as the little dog ran, darting figure eights around the sorcerer's legs. Belzadorn's feet got crossed up, he teetered and then fell to the floor on his butt, as he deserves. With not a moment to lose, Jake grasped the vial with his front paws, pulled out the cork with his teeth, and then clenched the vial snugly in his mouth again. As Belzadorn struggled to his feet, Jake circled around him 3 times, trailing out the vial's liquid contents on the floor behind him as he ran. As a circular grey haze rose up from the floor around the sorcerer, the haze wavered and shifted, forming fingers of mist that fanned out in all directions across the room. One thin tendril of the fog found its way over to the king. He inhaled the mist, screwed up his eyes and looked around. Even at that moment, his puffy, bloodshot eyes cleared. His thin frame expanded. His sagging skin tightened. He sat up straight and strong in his bed. Oh wow, that is a real Lord of the Rings moment, isn't it? In a fit of rage, Belzadorn lunged at Jake, but the bitchin launched into the air, vaulted off the sorcerer's shoulders, somersaulted, and knocked the hologons off the table. It crashed to the ground, the glass cracking and splitting cleanly in two, and its narrow hourglass center. Thin threads of mist spiraled above Belzadorn and settled down upon him. His shoulders suddenly drooped as he inhaled the fine droplets. James breathed in the vapor too. As he did so, he rubbed his eyes and took a small step away from the sorcerer. Good! Swirling clouds floated up from the cleaved hologons, trailing behind them a series of rapidly changing images that captured the attention of everyone in the chamber. Belzadorn kissing the queen's hand and whispering words, the queen's writhing agony in her bed, citizens fighting in the streets, the sorcerer squeezing James's hand in the dungeon cell, the raven gliding away above the hornet attack on the envoys, Belzadorn sending his messenger off to the east. James was appalled. Bitter tears streamed down his contorted face. He flashed angry eyes up at the sorcerer and backed away further from him. Good! I was a bit worried because of what he'd done to James. Because he'd made him really angry and attack his sister and everything, that he was going to try and attack the sorcerer. But he's but a baby boy! He's also a child, so I didn't want him to have to murder someone at that young age. Belzadorn was wide-eyed and disorientated, transfixed by the streaming images, but he snapped out of his shock and moved to James in a flash, holding him tightly and bringing a dagger to the boy's throat. He backed the two of them away from the others. The king, paralyzed with fear, stared helplessly at his son. "Look at him! Look at him!" Belzadorn said as he wrenched James's body directly face the king. Yep, there's a lot of traumatizing young in this one, that's for sure. "He's weak! His kingdom is weak! The weak shouldn't rule!" He jerked the boy towards the hologons. "You see that it's too late," he said, his voice rising. New images floated up. the Vinnish army thundering westwards, Atlas out in front of them in retreat, Sir Baldwin grimly leading the Gorsland army in some unknown direction, the townspeople advancing menacingly towards Lesady. Belzadorn inhaled another finger of mist. "Your father's kingdom is lost," he said more softly now, passion fading from his voice. "You and I, James, we could have..." His eyes brimming, the sorcerer breathed in more of the vapor as he looked down at the boy. "Even now, we could begin anew, elsewhere. I could mentor you, be a father to you." He kissed James's head, low-key sad. James suddenly broke away, spun around and seized Belzadorn's hands as the sorcerer dropped the dagger. The boy closed his eyes and muttered quick garbled words. Rose-coloured pustules and lessons bloomed across Belzadorn's hands. "What strange magic is this?" the sorcerer asked, dumbfounded. "My father is strong because he speaks simply and truthfully," James said. "Because he respects all life and loves peace." With numbed movements, Belzadorn pulled up the sleeve of his cloak, watching him wonder as the disease slowly moved up his arms. He lowered his head and wept. "Damn, James." Elsewhere. I have dabbled in the Elder Scrolls, but I haven't played a lot, I'm not gonna lie. I actually played Oblivion the most, I think. The king reached out to his son. "James, heal him." James looked at the king with surprise. "But father, you know what he's..." The king held up his hand. "Even now, he sees through his deceptions," he said gently. "Yes, father. I can try." James faced Belzadorn, touched his hand and muttered strange words. The growth of the lessons abated and pustules began to fade. Oh, a modded Skyrim playthrough. That would be quite fun, actually. There's some wild ass mods you can get, aren't there? And I can get there's the Steam Workshop as well, isn't there? You can get lots of mods through that. That would be interesting. I will look into that. I don't think I really have time at the moment with the games I've picked up. But maybe I have to Higurashi or something. I don't know. Or maybe I could alternate it with Minecraft a little bit. Unrelated, but I fear you'd love / hate Darkest Dungeon. I tried Darkest Dungeon. I tried it and I couldn't quite understand the menus very well. At least in the first one. I could probably go back to it and figure it out now, but I think it was when it was not long come out and it just didn't, it wasn't there yet. It wasn't there yet. So I could probably go back to it and learn it a bit, but currently, at the time, I didn't, I got through the first dungeon bit and I got to like the town resting bit and I set people up and I couldn't find the OK button or whatever. I got so confused by that UI. Belzadorn smiled weakly at James. "There is hope yet for me." A blast of frigid wind suddenly swept across the room, ripping the tapestry from the wall and extinguishing all candles. The chamber went silent. Black groans echoed through the castle. James reached out and swept an inky hand, relighting a candle in the nightstand. Damn, James learned a lot of magic in that time. Holy duck. I guess he couldn't see in the darkest dungeon. Maybe bring your flashlight would make it a little better. Yeah. You get it again. Well done, Void. That's 3 badumtses in a single stream. A lot of trial and error. I could probably give it another go. Like I say, it's been improved a lot since I last opened it. And the second one looks a lot of fun. I've watched a friend play that a little bit. Looks like quite a giggle. You did a funny achievement. Da da da! And I spelled achievement wrong too, just to make it that extra special. The weak flame flickered on a terrified Belzadorn, who watched miserably as the pustules again blistered up his arms, disappeared under his sleeves and re-emerged on his neck. James, teary-eyed, held the sorcerer's hands. "I'm trying, but I don't know how to." Belzadorn gently placed his hand on James's shoulder. "No. Let it be as it is." The disease flared across the sorcerer's face. "But you have good in you. When you healed that woman. When you wanted to help my mother. Child, he was the reason your mother was like that." Belzadorn knelt down in front of the boy. "It's too late. He's here. He's disappointed with me." He gently touched James's cheek. "He can't trust me. And you shouldn't trust me. It's better this way." Trembling now, the sorcerer leant on James's shoulders and reached out towards the space behind him. "I'm so cold," he whispered. "My son, I see you, but I can't approach. Forgive me, James. Forgive." He bowed his head and went quiet. Trust nobody but a very cute dog called Jake. That is the moment. Dead silence filled the room. The king slowly got out of bed and looked sadly down at Belzadorn. A vile spirit has taken the tormented soul it desired. I do not feel its ghastly presence now. He looked over at James and Janice, his eyes sharpening with renewed clarity. "But what of the unholy winged demon?" "He perished in flame," James said quietly. "As has Lizzie," Janice added, her voice cracking. "Yeah, rip Lizzie." The king bowed his head. "My children," he said, choking back tears. "I'm so sorry you had to endure this." James rushed into his arms, followed by Janice. The king laughed and crouched down as Jake and Henry joined in too. The two little dogs jumping about and licking happy faces. Yay! Pendleton hung back because Pendleton's a dick! In a corner, his head sagging. As he should. The king released his grip on his children and stood up. "We must act quickly now." He grabbed a parchment from his nightstand and placed it on the table, dipped a quill pen and quickly scratched down the message. "Sir Baldwin advances on Greyland. We must avoid needless war with friends." He rolled up the message and applied a wax seal. Frowning, he looked over at the children. "But who can deliver this to him for me? I have no horsemen here at the castle." "Your Majesty, I'll take it to him," Jake said. James blinked away tears and sat down on the floor beside Jake, gently stroking the bitchin's head. The king beamed down at the dog. "And how is it then, little one, that you speak with words?" he asked. "Anyone wants to hear?" Jake started. "Can hear," Janice said, laughing as she hugged her brother and the little dog. She reached up and held her father's hands. I'll explain it to you later. Do you think it's a great idea for me to try ghost pepper salsa pizza? How's your spice tolerance? That is a question you can only ask yourself, and I can't ask you to relay your spice tolerance in the British way of what Nando's do you order, so... Next page. The king squatted down next to them and ran his fingers along Jake's back. It's a long journey, my four-legged friend. Sir Baldwin moves at a leisurely pace, Jake explained. We have reason to be hopeful. Jake's going. I should go, shouted Henry joyfully as he hopped on his hind legs, just like Jake had taught him. Aww. I'll go with Jake, 'cause Henry's a sweetie. The king gasped and then gave a hearty belly laugh as he scratched behind the little poodle's ears. Pendleton moaned dejectedly. He hadn't come out of his corner. The king went over to him and lifted up the dog's chin. My dear, proud poodle Pendleton. Gonna need to exercise your toilet after chili beans. Correct. That is the biggest risk. You like spicy food? Yeah. Well then, go for it. I don't know. And just exercise the toilet, as we said. Just make sure you got some holy water on hand. Or maybe just drop a rosary down there when you're done. I don't know. I think that's how it works. What was a TV show that did that? I dropped a rosary down the... Supernatural! That's it! Dropped a rosary in the prison toilet. Yeah! I remember that. I've been kept... I'm not up to date on Supernatural. I'm kind of late to that train. I've just finished season 3? 2 or 3? 2 or 3? I can't remember. But yeah, we're getting there on Supernatural. My dear, proud poodle Pendleton. Your performance under the ill influence of dark magic was no worse than mine. Pendleton wagged his tail feebly. His head sagged again. Jake walked over to the two of them and lifted a paw up to the wretched animal. Come with us. We need you. Wasn't Supernatural the one where they go, ghosts be gone, ghosts be gone? I don't know. If they do, I haven't gotten to that bit. Supernatural's the one with the bros that do the hunting. The Winchesters. Henry trotted over and ran excited circles around them. I will go, Pendleton said, slowly lifting his head, if you will have me. Jake says you should go, Pendleton, so you should go. Yeah! Henry yapped. And so I shall, Pendleton replied, gratefully nuzzling against Henry. Aww. The king retrieved the parchment off the table and placed it in a satchel that he tied around Jake's neck. He patted the dog's head affectionately and then walked over to a large chest in the corner of the room, sighing deeply as he took out breastplate armor and put it on. He then lifted out his sword and slowly unsheathed it. I've been reluctant these many years to hold this, he said as he walked back across the room. But there's no avoiding it now. Despite Atlas's heroic efforts. The king sheathed the sword and tied it onto his belt. His eyes narrowed. He strode towards the door, with the others close behind. We will face with a stout heart whatever comes this day. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. We got some war on the way, and this is the last chapter. If you'll excuse me, it has now gotten dark in my room, and I did not turn my light on. One hot sec. I'll still be here. Still still screaming at you from across the room. Yay, my headphone wires are long enough. Whoop whoop. And I'm gonna close my blinds too. Not that the wonderful rainy day was not a lovely sight. Anyway, okay, we're back. We're ready. Well, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm gonna take a quick drink first. It's the final chapter. Let's go. Out of the castle. James had run ahead of the others and approached the castle entrance first. Open the doors and lower the bridge at once, he shouted to the startled guards. Oh, we could only abide by Belzit, one of them began. The king came swiftly into view, his eyes blazing. You will abide by your king. Of course, your majesty, the second guard cowered, but begging your forgiveness. The guards pushed open the castle doors and yelled ahead at the others at the gate to lower the drawbridge. Janice and James held their breath as Jake, Henry and Pendleton sprinted across the courtyard and onto the bridge, even as it was still being lowered. Side by side, the dogs leapt from the bridge and flew through the air across the water and landed without missing a stride on the other side. The children raced across the bridge and cheered as they watched the dogs lope up a long sloping hill towards Greyland and disappear over the crest in a cloud of dust. The king came up behind the two, placing his hands on their shoulders. Follow me, we'll do our part now. With confident strides, he headed toward Leslie's cottage. As they approached, they heard soft murmuring that was building with intensity, gathering up in a surging wave as the three of them came around the back of the cottage. A wall of sound greeted them, erupting in thunderous cheers as townspeople joyfully lifted clubs, knives, and sticks. Long live the king, they proclaimed. With misty eyes, Leslie embraced the king warmly and then dropped to her knees, squeezing the children for all they were worth. The king wiped away a tear and raised his hands. The crowd quieted. Your king has failed you. His voice gave out. He lowered his head. Long live the chili dogs! There was complete silence. Even the birds and the woods had long gone quiet. A man near the front of the crowd, one with scarecrow hair and a bushy unibrow, stepped forward. And we failed you, he said, almost in a whisper. The king smiled weakly and nodded. My good people, I must give you grave news. The Vinnish army approaches unchecked. And he narrowed his eyes and unsheathed his sword and lifted it up high. But I will defend you. It's what a king does. He stared at the people as they stood silent. The barkeep pushed his way through the citizens and came up beside the man who had first spoken. He frowned at him and then quickly smiled, giving him a friendly pat on the back. I mean, it depends on the person, I guess. Some people could pull off a unibrow. I mean, I assume there's got to be some kind of fashion that someone could pull off a unibrow somewhere. Yeah. Sorry. My chair is very old, and some of the plastic is coming off the arms. And I could buy a replacement chair. I could, but I love this chair. I've had this chair since I was like, oh my god, I was going to say since I was in high school, and that is a long time ago. This poor chair has survived so much with me. I can't replace it. I'm gonna cry when it breaks one day. Until then, we're gonna love it. The barkeep then turned to face the king, raising up his club. Your Majesty, lead us, and we will follow you to death itself. All at once the townspeople whooped and shouted, proudly raising their primitive weapons high into the air. The king walked east, just below the river, into a vast open field that stretched outwards and gently upwards towards a worn hill beyond. He stopped and held up his hand as the throngs of citizens gathered in behind him. Chair so old it will gain sentience and become a Pokemon if thrown away. That is exactly what will happen if this chair is ever thrown away. Correct. It will become a ghost-type Pokemon. As he squinted his eyes towards the top of the hill, he could see a small form streaking down. So just put it somewhere you can see it, so you can look at it and say, yep, it's as old as me, it survived this long when you need a new chair. I mean, if I could enshrine my chair, I would. But room in my small office. Enshrine my I could like get it. Like get it the equivalent of taxidermy. We could like paint it gold and then like weatherproof it and then put it out in the garden as a statue. Then it won't become a ghost type Pokemon, it will be loved. How much does a bigger office cost? I mean, I would have to potentially extend my house. So probably a lot. For me specific, a lot. Too much. Many months. I wouldn't even know how that would be possible to extend the house, I'm not gonna lie. Especially to give me more office room. It is streaking down, it kicking up dust. The form soon took the recognizable shape of Atlas, with his children and Leslie by his side. The king waited for the stallion's approach. Lathered in sweat, Atlas staggered up to the king. James rushed over to hug him. The stallion was surprised by the boy's happy greeting, but then nuzzled against him and spoke with heaving breaths. You must warn your father that... I think that's nothing a 10k hotel reservation can't. I think that's in the 10ks hotel reservations, nothing I can't attempt. No. We're good. No. I like my house. I worked hard for my house. I want to keep it forever. Wait, that's not what you're saying. Anyway, brain, come on. Tell him yourself, James said to the horse, laughing. Atlas turned to the king. Forgive me, my king, but the Vinnish army is so close behind. I was a coward. I did not defend your land. You chose wisely and honorably, the king said with a warm smile, stroking the horse's mane with affection that was deeper than he had ever felt before for a beloved charger. And, admittedly, it only helped that he had a newfound ability to converse with animals. I know you're exhausted, but I must again call upon your services, the king said as he prepared to mount. With your permission, it would be a privilege. The horse nickered. The crowd cheered as the king swung up onto Atlas's back. Leslie passed out little glass vials to James and Janice, and then nodded up at the king as he looked down at them. Bring relief to the suffering, he explained. The king smiled and then looked to the east. Uneasiness settled on the crowd now. They grew silent as the king scanned the horizon. Suddenly, the massive Finnish army appeared before them, stretched out across the top of the hill as its cavalry thundered down in front of it. Hey, question. If a robot fixes another robot, are they an engineer or a doctor? I believe there's an anime about that currently. I don't know. What's the dictionary definition of a doctor? That's the biggest question now. And if the robot is broken, does that mean the robot's sick? Semantics. Across the top of the hills, its cavalry thundered down in front of it. The king leaned in close to Atlas. Steady now, my old friend. Steady, he said calmly. As the Finnish cavalry closed the distance, he raised his sword. For Gorsland! He launched Atlas forward, the townspeople shouting and streaming behind him. With Jake in the lead, the three dogs sprinted west across an expansive meadow carpeted in daisies that tapered upwards towards a soft, rounded hill. Almost like old times, Jake thought, romping with Henry on a beautiful, peaceful day. Will you ever do an ASMR dictionary reading stream as a joke? I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down right now. That's such a good idea for the fool of a day on the April. Yeah, let's put that in my calendar right now. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. What day is it? So April is a Monday, which is a day I would normally stream. So you know what? Reading ASMR. Wonderful. That is the best April Fool's joke stream suggestion ever. Thank you very much. You're a genius, Void. Ba, 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 ba. I don't understand ASMR, but that will probably be popular, not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't quite understand it either, and I don't think I have the right mic for it. I'd have to be like, A for apple, and be like nice and whispery or something. I have no idea. I'll have to look into it. An apple is a fruit. No, sorry. But he snapped out of his reverie when a long, thin, snaking line suddenly appeared, stretching across the crest of the hill. He narrowed his eyes and slowed to a trot. The line seemed to momentarily teeter and then came flowing down towards them. Henry was wide-eyed with fear. Is that the army of Greyland that bears down on us? Should we go back, Jake? Yeah. Pendleton squinted. Those colours, they are not of Greyland. Jake leapt high into the air. They bear the banner of Gorsland, he rejoiced. Huzzah! Barked Henry happily. We should go to them, right, Jake? I think they will be with us soon enough, offered Pendleton. Buying a 3DO would make it better than a normal mic. Yeah, I will be looking into different mics and cameras at some point. But I need to get my finances in order first. The features and form of Sir Baldwin took shape now, as he galloped down ahead of his forces to meet up with the three dogs. Jake looked up uncertainly at the knight as he trotted up and reined in his horse. Sir Baldwin, if you can understand me, we didn't expect to find me with my sanity restored, the knight answered, laughing. If this counts as sanity. Poor man. He dismounted, crouched down, and hugged the dogs, all three at once, and then removed the parchment from Jake's satchel. He scanned the king's message, smiled, and winked at Jake. It's not every day that a man hears his horse speak. I think I'd be able to fund it in March by myself, since it's only Oh, only $300 to $600. Oh, lordy. Void, how much money do you have? Well, Void, wait for a bit. I'm thinking about opening up my Patreon again. You can start throwing some money in there if you really wanted. But like, I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am with people just randomly buying me shit and not. I don't know. I want to be a streamer and I should be comfortable with it, but it's still kind of really strange, you know? Still kind of strange. I'll get used to it, I guess. He stood up and signaled to his approaching forces, and then faced the bitchin again. They're not convinced that it's wise to take counsel from talking animals, but they're coming around. Sir Baldwin mounted his horse. Onward to Gorsland! I didn't exactly say I'd be the one buying it. I know, but you'd be the one giving me the money and I would buy it, so you're basically buying it. It's still strange. It's still a wee bit strange. But something, like I said, I might have to get used to. It's just... But it's good. I don't know. I'll get used to it. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's just carry on with the book now. He shouted back to his troops. He spurred his horse forward to the east, with Jake, Henry, and Pendleton streaking alongside him. Oh, I thought they'd give him a ride. I didn't think they'd have to run all the way back as well. The king thundered along on Atlas towards the immense Vinnish army. As he got closer, he could see individual faces now. They were contorted and etched with anger and lust for violence. Your Majesty, Atlas faltered, it's not too bad. We've faced worse than this together. The king gave a nervous laugh. I don't share those recollections. He prepared for impact. And then the king saw something astonishing. Bears, wolves, panthers, foxes, hedgehogs, beavers, bucks, birds, squirrels, all sorts of beasts, even elephants, were pouring out of the woods just below the field. For our ancestors! For Gorsland! The animals shouted as they closed the distance in a blink and cut through the Vinnish army like streaking javelins. The Vinnish forces stalled in a state of shock. They swung swords wildly at furry and feathered opponents that barreled, leapt, and flew over and crawled under them. You were right, my friend, the king said to Atlas. We have faced worse than this. Yeah, it's all the smart animals, the ones that can talk. The Gorsland citizens charged into the fray now, fighting fearlessly even though they were clearly outmatched by the enemy's skill and sword. A Vinnish lieutenant on horseback, furious with his unnerved forces, rained curses down upon them. Fight! And die if you must! You will not dishonour Vinland! Leslie, James, and Janice moved along the edges of the battle, darting out to apply drops of their healing elixirs to the men and beasts injured for the Gorsland cause. James had just delivered relief to a bloodied red squirrel and was bent over now, examining the small animal. "Thank you," said the squirrel. "I don't know what I would have. Your Highness! Behind you!" James rolled to the side just as a Vinnish soldier buried an axe deep into the ground where the boy had just been. James reached up, grabbed the soldier's hands, and muttered strange words. The soldier staggered back, shocked, as bubbling boils skipped up his arms. He ran off, screeching. Oh yeah, they were. Whoosh. R/whoosh. I did not catch that pun. My reaction time isn't as good as Drax. I can't catch the puns. I can't catch the metaphors. Pith scuttled and in science class, animals animal. Oh, come on, that stupid heart is in the way. There's a stupid heart in the way of your comment, so I can't see it. In science class, animals are classified as a kingdom. Correct! I think. I don't know if it's scientifically like that, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long time since I did science. Pith struggled to his feet as Prattle came scurrying up. I owe you my life, Pith said to James. I'm Pith, and I'm Prattle, Prattle interrupted, bowing his head before the boy. If additional hands and muttered strange... What? No, I got that wrong. I didn't click the thing. I think it was biology or something. Yes, you would learn about animals in the biology. If additional service is required, we most certainly can provide it. I don't doubt it for a moment, James said, laughing. Despite the heroic efforts of man and beast, the enemy forces had regained their composure, and the tide in the battle turned once again in favour of the Vinish. 3 of their soldiers ganged up on the barkeep as he spun to and fro, wildly swinging his club at them. And then, suddenly, Maisie was there, just behind them. She shrieked. The soldiers looked back at the cat, baffled. And then right at that moment, Vincent, Winston and Nigel were there too. All 3 dogs lunged at the soldiers, smashing into them and knocking them into the ground. The king and Atlas fought valiantly, whirling about as they were one, while the king struck down attackers with his sword and the charger bludgeoned others with his hooves. But the Vinish lieutenant across the field saw an opportunity. He mowed down townspeople as he advanced towards the king. A tiny brown cloud of dust appeared at the crest of the hill, just west of the castle. After a moment, the dust cloud took form of 3 dogs looping around the hill. Seconds later, trumpets were blowing, and Sir Baldwin was racing down the hill, his cavalry right at his heels, and his army lumbering down the hill behind him. At the sound of the trumpets, there was a collective pause on the battlefield. The Vinish fighters looked west, in fear in their eyes. The king spun around on Atlas and smiled as he watched his forces fast approaching. The Vinish lieutenant approached the king unnoticed. He swung his sword and delivered a deep gash to Atlas's side. Not Atlas! Leave Atlas alone. He's worked so hard. He's worked so hard. The horse groaned and collapsed, throwing the king to the ground. The king lay in the dirt, unable to move because the wind had been knocked out of him. The lieutenant dismounted and walked casually over to him. You're not cut out for this, your grace, he said with a sneer. You never were. He raised his sword for the death blow. You were just too stupid to realize it. Just then, Sir Baldwin's cavalry blew through the lines as Jake streaked towards the king. The lieutenant dove his sword down, but it pierced not the king, instead penetrated Jake's leaping backside. The little dog went down with a yelp. He does! He's trying to hold up the whole goddamn world! You get a badumts for that. That's a good joke, Jake. It was a good joke. Jake the 13th, not Jake the dog. The Vinish forces were growing disheartened again as they battled beasts, town people, and the Gorson army. As they were sent back on their heels, some of the unnerved numbers began to backpedal towards the east. The lieutenant pointed his sword at his retreating men. You'll stand your ground or I'll cut you down myself, he screamed. As the lieutenant turned back again to the king and raised his sword again, James came racing up behind him and slammed him to the ground, seizing hold of his hand and delivering swift disease to his body. The lieutenant wailed in pain, writhing on the ground as a network of angry black twisting tendrils shot up his arms and spread out over his neck and face. Oh, it's so twisted what James is doing now, because that's the shit that nearly killed him and killed his mother. James! Honestly! Vinnish soldiers watched, horrified, as their commander balled up into a fetal position. They quickly snapped out of their shock and openly embraced a full retreat, turning their backs and running away in terror. Their Gorsland forces and townspeople thrust triumphant fists up into the air and rejoiced. Leslie and Janice had arrived at the scene along with Henry and Pendleton. Jake moaned and looked over at Atlas, who was sprawled out next to him, gasping with laboured breaths. The sculptor smiles upon us, Jake choked out. It's a good day to die. It's an honour to die alongside you, Atlas said to his friend. Leslie rolled her eyes. The two of you sound like fools, she said, laughing. There'll be no dying for either of you today. At least not on my watch. She placed her hands on them and whispered words. Their wounds immediately shrank and evaporated. The dog and horse sat up at the same time, their sides rubbing together. Well, all's well. Well, all I was saying was that if I was going to die, I couldn't do it with a finer fellow, Atlas said sheepishly. Everyone laughed as Janice, teary-eyed, knelt and hugged them both. James and the poodles joined in. Leslie helped the king to his feet. They embraced and smiled down at the dogs and children, who all at once clambered onto Atlas's back. Elated, Gorson soldiers and citizens whooped and hollered as the charger struggled to his feet. A fellow might need a little bit of time to recover before he's drafted into service and alls, the horse said with a grin and a whinny. The people grew a little nervous, and when the two bears trundled up for a look, and then, all at once, Pith and Prattle and Vincent and Winston and Nigel and Maisie were there too, laughing and running around through the horse's legs. The king raised up his hands to quiet the crowd. He turned to Leslie and knelt before her, bowing his head. The crowd erupted in applause, and he then made his way over to Atlas and his 5 riders, and bowed down low before them too. Leslie motioned to Pith, Prattle, Vince, and his gang, who all took their own bows. This amazed and delighted the people, who laughed and clapped, and tried to explain to each other what they were just seeing and hearing. Henry suddenly pointed a paw towards a fluttering black spot in the sky. He hopped down from Atlas, followed by the others, and they squinted their eyes up at the speck as it approached. Could it be the raven? He asked anxiously. The speck had taken form of a little bird. More like a raven slayer, Janice said, smiling, her eyes brimming. Lizzie, covered in soot, dropped down through the air and plopped on Janice's shoulder. Yay! Lizzie is alive! We thought we lost you, said Janice as the bird pecked gently at her cheek. Can't get rid of a house sparrow that easily, Lizzie explained, because that explains everything. But I don't need an explanation, I just need a happy ending, and that's what we're getting. It's fine. Leslie motioned to Lizzie, the crowd astonished to hear chattering little words from the bird, erupted again in joyful applause, laughter, and tears. Leslie, James, and Janice moved briskly about the field, applying healing drops and hands to wounded beasts and to any man now, regardless of where they called home. The last stragglers of the Vinnish forces faded from sight over the horizon, Sir Baldwin and a few of his men shooing them away over the hill. The barkeep knelt down in front of Vincent. I'd welcome a toughen like you in my pub, he said, scratching the terrier behind the ears. Of course, that's if you want to. Vincent and Nigel trotted up next to him. And your friends too. He winked at Nigel. Except no digging inside. As Sir Baldwin worked his way back over to where the king, Leslie, Janice, James, animals, people, and soldiers had now gathered, Atlas called after him. Sir Baldwin, the horse said nervously, clearing his throat. A word, if you please. About that part where I kicked you. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Already forgotten, the knight said, laughing, as the crowd was amazed and new to hear the talking horse. And it did me a bit of good, I might add. Atlas neighed and flashed a big toothy grin, as James gave a belly laugh. A word with you too, your highness, Leslie said sternly, eyes flashing down at James. The boy looked up at her timidly, as she held Maisie in her arms, stroking the purring cat. At supper, we're going to talk about this gift, she continued, that you're going to share, humbly, with Janice and Jake. Janice poked James in the ribs and laughed as Jake jumped up into her arms. Leslie set Maisie down and ran a hand gently through James's hair. 'Cause this gift is way bigger than you. It could eat you alive if you're not careful. You got close to the Wanderer, and he knows all about you now. So you're gonna get close to him again, like it or not. Don't know when, she nodded over at Jake and Janice. But you'll need help, and mine. The crowd had grown silent and somber as Leslie spoke. James gulped. And then a broad smile appeared across her face. But let's eat first. Jake hopped up on Janice's shoulder and then popped up onto her head, standing up and balancing on his hind legs. I have no idea what's going on, but I can finally catch some of this. Yay, Necromancer! You're here, like, literally right for the end. We're on the last % of this book. And what's gone on is it's happy ending time, and that is all. That's all you need to know. Lizzie fluttered and chittered delightfully above him. The people relaxed and laughed and hollered, Huzzah! As Janice snatched up the little dog and grabbed only air as Jake somersaulted backwards and landed on his hind legs and paraded around her. And then Plod was pushing his way slowly through the crowd with Digby astride on the tortoise's shell. These persistent squatters, Plot said, looking up at the hedgehog with a smile, compel me once again to lodge a formal complaint. Well, look who showed up, Leslie said, laughing at the odd pairing of travellers. Better late than never, I suppose. We heard there were tarts, Digby replied. Of course you did, Leslie said with a chuckle. Jake was surprised to see Maisie slipping into the woods. Where is she going? He asked Leslie. Don't you worry about her, she'll be fine, Leslie said, watching the cat fade from sight. I said she was Belzadorn's cat, but that was in name only. No one has a hold on her heart. Except Sasha, Belzadorn's wife. Maybe Maisie can find her this time. Aww. She bent down and held Jake's head gently in her hands. I'm sure she'll come back around for a visit now and again. And with that, the king, Leslie, James, Janice, Jake, Henry, Pendleton, Lizzie, Vincent, Nigel, Winston, Pith, Prattle, Digby, Plod, Atlas, Sir Baldwin, and all the elated soldiers, citizens, and enlightened beasts moved happily along the river towards the castle for a celebration that would last for days. The end! Ta-da! We did it. We did it. I had a thing. Do I still have that? can take the number down now. Yeah. Books Until Freedom. 9,959. Boop, boop. Thank you, everyone, for coming to that. If you enjoyed it, I would be very grateful, and the author would be very grateful, if you could leave reviews for it. I don't think, like, if you could buy it, great, that would be great. There's an affiliate link in the description. If you can click on that, go buy it through that, that'd be great. If not, if you're not someone who can spend money on it but still want to support this author, leave a review. Leave a review either on the link down there, or I'll get the Goodreads review out, link out for you as well. And that would also be wonderful. Reviews are gold dust for indie authors. You need to know how valuable they are. Let me get that Goodreads link for you too. There we go. So you can review on Amazon, or you can review it there on Goodreads. Oh! We did it! And we still got like 20 minutes of the stream left. I knew this happened. Always freaking does. My next book that I'm gonna read. I haven't spoken to the author in a little bit, but I'm sure he's fine with it. I haven't figured it out yet. But it's by the same person who did the Catatonic Marcus Misadventures book that I did. This one is not a children's book for once in my life, nor is it animal themed at all, which probably means it's going to go wrong. But it is called, let me find the specifics so that I can get a blurb for you. It's called One for the Road. By Jeremy M. Moore. Here it is. Here it is. Let me read you the description. No, you don't need that anymore. We can have space. Awaking confused and alone in a sweltering desert landscape, Miguel finds shelter in what he thinks is the crumbling ruins of a small bar. However, this rundown shack has a dark secret and a terrifying purpose. A festival unlike anything Miguel has ever experienced is about to begin, and he is powerless to escape. As night falls and the celebration begins, Miguel has until dawn to complete his part in the night, or become lost for eternity. A race against time where Miguel will have to determine if the bar's staff is with him or against him. Can Miguel solve the mystery that brought him to this shape-shifting bar? Will he be able to flee this place before dawn? What will the shadowy creatures watching Miguel want for him? What do the shadowy creatures watching Miguel want from him? Night has fallen, and the Death Night Festival is about to begin. That is what we're reading next time. It sounds a little bit spooky. I've read a little bit so far. I haven't quite got through the amount that I would normally vet for these books, but after Marcus Misadventures, I'm trusting the author on this one. I've already read through one of his books here in its entirety, so I trust that he's a good one. He sent me pictures of his cat last time because it was a cat book. I mean, how can I not trust him? How to get in my good books. Send me cats. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. There's a lot of likes there. There's a lot of likes. Yes, cats! I got sent cats! Because it was a cat. This one isn't a cat book, though. This next one is not a cat book. You have cats? Cats are wonderful. I had a cat. It lives with my parents now because my boyfriend is allergic to cats, so I can't have cats anymore. But I love my cat. She's a void. She's a black cat. She's a very old lady now, though. I'm pretty sure I've already said that on streams before, but she's a very old lady. Oh, old lady kitty. What's your cat like, Necromancer? Tell me about your cat. I suppose I can talk a little about next week. I miss my black cat. They are the sweetest. Mine's so noisy as well. I think it's because we always talk to her. My dad likes noisy cats, so he tends to kind of like interact with the cat more when she's loud. Therefore, she knows to be loud. And even now she's really old, she has such a strong meow. Meow, meow. I love her. I love her so much. She's the best. Do I do pictures? Let me see if I can find a picture of my cat. I don't think I have any on my PC, which makes it slightly awkward to get a picture for you. But you know, cats, bro. Can't talk about cats. What did you miss, Void? What was the last thing you remembered? I can fill you in. It's all good. Let me see. I'm gonna get a picture of my cat for you because we can't talk about cats this much and not show you a picture of my cat. Upload photo or video to the Dropbox. I did take a picture of my cat recently because my friend and I, we've taken to just kind of neither of us are the most talkative of people. Mine was opposite to the point her name was Mouse. And only showed up for really, aww, little mouse. That's very cute. And I say my friend, we have, if I get this back up, I can show you through this rather than having to like make a whole new thing. We've taken to just kind of sending cute pictures to each other. So I took a picture of my cat fairly recently. Here she is! This is my cat. Her name is Twinkle. But we tend to just call her Cat. Is she not the most beautiful being you've ever seen? This is my whole stream now. It's just Twinkle. She's the best. I love her so much. She's so fluffy. She likes being brushed a lot. Because she's getting quite old now and she can't really like lick herself very well. She really likes being brushed now. She used to hate it. You used to go near her with a brush and she used to hiss at you. But now she really likes being brushed, especially in the hot weather, obviously, to get rid of all her extra floof. And the brush is the closest thing we've ever gotten to actually teaching her a trick. Because you can actually get her to roll over by herself. Obviously, cats don't learn tricks very much, but she knows that, like, if you're brushing one side, she needs to roll over for the other. So if you start her on, you have to start her on a particular side, and she only ever tends to do it for my dad. But it's you go roll over, she actually does it. She actually rolls over. It's crazy. She actually does something of a trick. It's for her own convenience, obviously. The Queen would never do anything that wouldn't be for her own convenience, but, you know, it's important. Oh, that's my cat. I love my cat. She's the best kitty cat in all the land. I also have two cats, a black one named Finley and a really poofy one named Dinah, like the cat from Alice in Wonderland. I'm not biased, I swear. Ah, Nyarudo. Things are explained here. Oh, I mean, I don't like the bigger floofy cats with they have like thinner hair, don't they? And they're so soft. So soft. And the problem with cats, like, I love cats, and then you go to cat cafes, and then the cats don't want to say hi to you, and it makes me sad. Oh, I wonder if I still have this picture of a cat I took at a cat cafe for you. Oh, I need to find it. There was this blind cat at a cat cafe once, and it was the sweetest little bean, and it was so pretty. And I'm going to see if I can find it for you. Or I might just show you more pictures of my cat. Because, you know, cats. They're brother and sister, which is cute because my sister and I got them together. Oh, that is very cute. That's wonderful. I went to that cat cafe a long time ago, so I might not have the pictures anymore, which would be a shame. I'm allergic to cats and dogs. Still cuddle them. Oh, it's worth it. But that's like lactose intolerance, isn't it? Where it's like, you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't do this, but fuzz, 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 fuzz. You mean it would just be at existence if you didn't pet cats, didn't get a chance to pet a cat. I mean, and here's where I end up uploading a lot of stuff to Dropbox because it's just pictures of my cat. Don't know what to stream. Show pictures of my cat. We want to share and upload to Dropbox. Upload. There we go. I couldn't find the cat cafe pictures. I think they're like on an old phone or something. But I did find some more pictures of my cat. Yes, I should make an animal channel on the Discord. You're correct. You are 100% correct. In fact, I'm going to do that now while I'm thinking of it. Animals! Done. Is done. Oh, I thought it was gonna end. Sorry, Papa. I can't see it because of the stupid thing. Oh, I thought it was gonna end by the time I could catch up. Yeah. That's okay, Void. No worries. Like I said, if you wanna tell me where you're up to or what's the last thing you remember, here is another picture of my kitty. In my very messy room at the time. As you can see, socks on the floor, rubbish Amazon vouchers. More pictures of my kitty. And here's another picture of my kitty. Yeah, look at her sweet face. Oh, she's so nice. Here's a picture of my kitty winking. Winku! Here's another picture of my kitty on the same day. Apparently it was snowing that day. Here's another picture of my kitty. She's beautiful. I think that's all. That's not all the pictures I have of my kitty. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm gonna find more. Here's a wonderful picture of my kitty. But I need to upload in the Dropbox again, so you're gonna have to give me a second to find some more. Oh, here's all my Japan snaps when I went to Japan. That was fun. I could do a whole last stream of me just talking about my Japan holiday, even though it was years ago now. But it was so good. Oh, that's a cat from one of the cat cafes. I have a video of my cat where I was trying to sneak her out so that I could take her with me when I moved out. I'll see if I can find that too. Oh Lord, I have so many pictures on my phone, so many pictures on my phone, many pictures on my phone. That'll do, let's just upload those. I can't find the video. Oh, what happened? Kitty is so pretty. She is very photogenic, isn't she? Even when she kind of like messes up her expression, she's still very beautiful. She makes me happy. Da -na 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 I mean, this is a good thing, really, because I haven't backed up a lot of my cat pictures. So this is making me back up my cat pictures. This is the best one. That was a very recent one. Uploading to Dropbox, uploading to Dropbox. All my kitty pictures in the Dropbox. Can't believe how cats have taken over the stream. Yeah, top 10 cats of the day, and it's always my cat. It's just my cat every time. Like, look at this fluff ball. Look at her not, like, sleeping properly in her bed. Look at her dumb fluffiness. We love her. We respect her. We stand this girl. What an absolute queen. Oh, what other ones did I get? Here's another one. Wah, kitty cat. Ah, kitty cat. Yeah, this is a cat stream now. This is just me showing off my cat stream and how beautiful she is. Oh, I miss my cat. I'm gonna have to go around and find an excuse to go to my parents so I can give her a hug. Look at this one, super zoomed in on her fuzzy, wuzzy curliness. Yes, yes. Fluff balls. Oh, I made a meme out of my cat, actually. I'll show you the meme I made out of my cat. Add to Dropbox, add to Dropbox, add everything to the Dropbox. This one stars my legs. I'll show you the meme. Meme. Here it is. Let me in. Yeah, what is a bed? What is a bed and how do you use it? I made a meme of my kitty cat because she's beautiful. She deserves to be a meme. Not a super zoomed in one. That one's good too. Oh. This is making me so happy just looking at pictures of my cat. And this will be great for if I get a spoopy stream again. I won't have to Google kittens like I did in the last Ruinous stream. I can just look at all these pictures of my own kitty cat. Very own kitty cat. It's perfect. It's future-proofing my streams. What other ones came up? We got this one, starring me in a dress and my legs. Look at her. Look at my baby. She loves me and I love her. And this one where she shows that she can actually use the bed. She does know how to do it, but sometimes she doesn't wanna. And then there's this one where she's like, oh, hi there. That one, I was supposed to be working at home, but then there was a cat, so obviously I wasn't. And obviously, the very important. And you'll have to ignore the rubbish on one of these ones. Degenerated into a cat show-off stream. Oh, boxes. Oh my god, I have so many pictures of my cat. I did not realize I had so many pictures of my cat, and it's wonderful. Upload all of these photos! Oh, okay. What did we get? I don't know. I can show you. Okay, so a very important one. In a box that doesn't fit her because she's a big girl. And then, since you got your hands full, see you tomorrow. Okie dokie, boy. See you tomorrow for some Minecraft. Bye. And then in this one where she's in a box that does fit her. Actually, that box had kind of been opened up and I think I kind of slotted it over her. I don't think that one actually did fit her. I made it fit her. Cats love boxes. They do. And I love my cat. Therefore, she gets boxes. Look at her chilling like a villain in the kitchen. Look at her chilling like a villain in the kitchen. She's the best. I love my cat. Chilling like a villain in the kitchen. Did I get any more out of that lot? No. But there will always be more. There's one that I took at Christmas that was good. I need to show you too. Where's the one? Oh, I uploaded one where I've got her on her throne. Because there was this one point, because my boyfriend's allergic to cats, as I've mentioned. My cat liked to sleep on my bed when I was younger. When I lived with mum and dad, the cat liked to sleep in my room on my bed. So when I couldn't have, yeah, there it is, on my bed. I had packed up a lot of stuff by that point, which is why my desk was very clean. But I do have another picture of my cat somewhere. Oh, this is my cat sitting like a person. Look at her. I had to make her a little throne by my bed because otherwise she would be on my bed and then she'd get cat fur all over my bed. And that was bad because my boyfriend was allergic. And then if he couldn't, then he couldn't sleep in my bed if my cat had fluff all over it. Oh, no, to Dropbox. Cats are too powerful. Who needs me? I could just stream like a slideshow of my cats and it would be fine. I would be a very popular streamer. That is my cat, Mahedi. Her name is Twinkle. She's a void. We love her. She's my cat. Well, she lives with my parents. She's not mine, but she is mine. She's my baby. She's my child. My fur baby. It's getting hard to tell which ones I newly uploaded to show off and which ones I've already shown. She's a cutie pie, a cutie pie, a cutie pie, a cutie pie, a cutie pie. This is the old lady cat I was telling you about, if you remember. Are they not up yet? They're overloaded. Go, refresh. Refresh the Explorer and find the kitty pictures. This cat in a drawer. More cats in a box. Yes, that song is entirely based on my lovely cat because that's just how much hope and cheer she brings to the world, or at least to my world. She is my twinkle, twinkle little star. How I wonder where she is, but I know exactly where she is. She's in the bed at my parents' house, in the kitchen specifically. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you, Miss Brownie, that I started Minecraft again with my friend, and now I'll be sharing your Minecraft pain too. Just today I suffered quite a lot. Comparable. Yeah, Minecraft is suffering. Oh, this is my cat getting obsessed by a fidget spinner. Comparable to my second stream. So, not the first one where, like, you had a better start then. You didn't quite go straight in and die.
managed to pretty much fill the time now with mostly just my cat, so gonna call it a day there. And I'm very glad I have many pictures of my cat on my PC now, which is wonderful. That is a great addition to my PC. So, you know what that means, boys and girls? It's shilling time. Oh ho ho! She was into those ADHD curing tools. Yeah, I know. There's fidget spinners and the fidget cubes and all those hand things. Bye, Moon Girl. Yes. Anyway, I got distracted. Yeah, we're doing shilling time. Bye, Moon Girl. Moon Girl's great. I have links in the description. Don't forget to leave a review for Leap of Darkness if you did enjoy these streams of it. And go tell the author how much you enjoyed it. I'm sure they'll be very grateful, and I will be able to show off how cool you guys are when authors ask me for things. I can be like, my people give you reviews because they're cool like that. Yeah, and I do have that code in my other streams, not in this one. Yeah, I have a Kofi, and you can pay for things while I'm streaming, and it's kind of like a super chat. Because I don't have those yet, and it'd be great if I could get those. But yeah, leave a comment on all. Mehedi's got it. Just listen to what Mehedi is saying. I'm just gonna read his stream the comments. Use that code of hers. Go get her a coffee. Like all the videos and streams. Literally leave comments on literally all the videos. Thank you. You gave me a script. I really appreciate that. I think that was all the shilling I needed to do. I appreciate it. Yeah, I already did the like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's wonderful. What haven't I done? Oh, I haven't thanked everyone. Thanks, Mehedi. Thanks, Neochromancer. Thanks, Rippy Dippy. Thanks, Jake the 13th. Thanks, Void, for being in the chat today. Thank you to anyone who has been lurking, and thank you to anyone who watches the VOD. That's okay, Mehedi. I appreciate you popping in, even if it's a very short time. That's fine, because I'll be back tomorrow with some Minecraft at the usual Minecraft time. I will put a schedule up again, but it's going to be pretty much the exact same schedule as last week, so not much change. It will be the usual Minecraft, Ruiner, Higurashi, and then more reading, which will be reading One for the Road. So actually there will be a slight change actually. I did forgot that. And yeah, that's all I've got for you. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you so much. This has been Brand New Smith live from the Forbidden Library. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Goodbye.